So hands, keep your mic muted.
Yes,
She's just going to be here for technical help for me. All right.
And moral
just
support for us.
Moral support. That's right.
Yes, we'll let them get in the room a couple, and then we'll
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll introduce you and then let you run with your presentation.
Right. So listen, John, I'm in a small New York apartment. I have 2 kids and a dog in here right now. And one child might come home during the presentation, hopefully not. I said, don't come home before 8 o'clock, but you never know. But you know, the dog, I have a treat for the dog sitting next to me.
There you go.
I'm ready, just in case, because she'll do it. I'll be on consultation calls and she'll start jumping on me and interrupting me, but hopefully there won't be any interruptions.
Give them a couple seconds here to get into the room, have some of these people come into the room, and then we'll introduce you. And we'll get rolling with your presentation, because I know you have an awesome presentation that you want to present. You know, Tuesday nights are, we're getting closer to holidays too, so a lot of people are, fourth quarter, man, a lot of people make their 60 to 70% of their income is made, especially online sellers, 60 to 70% of their income is made in that fourth quarter. So this is the time, if you're going to try to make it on Amazon, this is the time that you want to be busting your hump and doing everything you can to get product in there as quickly as possible so that you're able to capitalize on that marketplace, because it's huge in fourth quarter.
Absolutely. I have clients right now that are extremely busy, but the fact that, I still have some people coming on board is pretty amazing. So no problem. I understand that.
So we're going to get started here. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pro Seller Talk. My guest today is Catherine VanVonno. Did I say that right?
Yeah, pretty close. VanVonno, but it's close.
And she has put together a presentation tonight for you guys. I know you guys will enjoy it. She's got some really good insight and information for you guys. I'm excited to have her here. I know it's Tuesday night and you could be doing a lot of other things. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And for those of you that there will be a replay after this. So if you don't get off watching another webinar or something else is going on in your life that is committing you to be somewhere else, we understand. But I'm going to turn it over to Catherine now, and Catherine is going to do her presentation for you. And guys, enjoy. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me, and welcome everybody on this webinar, whether you're watching right now or whether you're going to watch a recording. I'm just really excited that I'm here right now. I do have to put a plug in for Jim Cockrum and CES, because it's because of that opportunity that I'm here today to talk to you guys. I was a vendor at the CES 4 conference. My husband attended the CES 3 conference, and we met an incredible group of sellers, as well as vendors that support those sellers. And I'm just really excited that I'm able to talk to you guys tonight. So let me go ahead and screen share because John taught me how to do it.
Hey, Catherine, before you go into your presentation, why don't you tell them a little bit about who you are so they kind of have an idea of, your background a little bit and get to know you a little.
Okay. All right, sure. Obviously my name's Catherine VanVonno. John just introduced me. Let's, roll back the clock. And I received a bachelor's and master's degree in industrial organizational psychology, and with my focus was really on tests and measurements and trying to identify or how you identify the best match for different job positions. So, I sort of grew out of a human resource industry. And then I decided, I was very young and immature, decided that I needed to continue with my education. I went on and got a PhD in applied statistics and program evaluation. I don't know how I got there, but that's where I ended up. and started my career with Blue Cross Blue Shield Association. And I started as a research analyst, analyzing large populations and analyzing the health of those populations and trying to identify which we could improve the health of populations. So whenever you think of health insurance, you think, oh my gosh, oh, so negative. But I was on the good side of health insurance, and I was trying to figure out ways that not only the insurer could save money in the long run, but ways that we could really help people. And so, I sort of, for 10 years, just moved through the ranks of that organization. I wound up sort of heading up the entire research and development area of Blue Cross Blue Shield Association. I was split between two offices. I was in Washington, D.C., is where I was physically located, but I was also supporting, I had staff in Chicago, and was traveling back and forth, had 4 kids during that time frame. And finally, my husband and I decided, hey, you need to take a break. You need to, be with the kids. And although I was in that type of position, I decided to, we decided to just take the break. And I had a great time, 10 years of not only in Blue Cross Blue Shield, but then 10 years of just raising kids. And I had 4 kids. I was everything from a Girl Scout troop leader to working on the PTA boards and the subcommittees. I did everything I could to be involved in my kids' lives. And it was a very special time for me. And then one day, my husband and his then business partner, we were just I was in a car ride, and they were on speakerphone, and they were talking about their VA company, this little VA company that they had developed. Said to me, hey, we really need your human resource expertise because, everything you've learned, we really need you to help us out with this company. And I said, okay, well, sure. And they said, oh, it sort of operates itself, no worries. But 2 years later, here I am. It didn't operate itself. When I came on board, I sort of talked to all the different types of clients that we had and identified that e-commerce was a really great area for us, and that we should really create some training programs around e-commerce and helping e-commerce sellers. I did that, and here we are, as I said, 2 years later. I'm still with the company. We are well over 100 clients now. And I have somewhere around 17 support staff with the company and helping me manage the daily operations. But, it is a blessing that I'm doing it. I feel I'm healthy and mentally healthy, and it's important. My kids are older now, so they don't need me as much. Sort of that's my story. I've talked to probably spoken to over 500 e-commerce sellers, consultation calls with them, and listened to the issues that they had, and I've tried to develop this company so that we can address those issues. One of the biggest issues, obviously, is growth. Deal with growth of your company. And so this presentation tonight is really about the lessons that I've learned and the things that I've heard from clients in terms of what they're going through and how to grow their companies. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So a good enough introduction. I'm sorry if it took too long. Johnny, you still there? Okay, he's on mute. So I'm going to go ahead. John, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and screen share now and start the presentation, okay?
Unless I need to say something.
You don't need to say anything. Let's get going. If I am technically able to do this, then that's great. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen now. Do have a couple of kids in the house and my dog in the room. So if you hear any moans from the background or biting on bones, you'll understand. Let's just go ahead and continue. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is mainly, my goal today is sort of to share with you what I've learned on my journey the last 2 years. This is not a sales pitch at all to any of you. Going to, being part of CES and being part of Jim Cochran's group, I've learned that successful people don't have to be marketers. Story and share what you've learned and want to help other people, and that's sort of my purpose with you guys. So is about what I've learned over the last 2 years in terms of growing my company and managing my staff, and hopefully be able to learn from that. Just go ahead and get started. So, this is a great graphic. This graphic, I've had a female graphic. I think I do have a female graphic of this, sort of similar with 8 arms. But, this is one of the biggest things that e-commerce business owners or any, entrepreneur deals with at an early stage is how your business and your responsibilities to be able to support need coming into your business. So at some point you have to sort of, find other people. This graphic sort of shows, it's really great because it shows, okay, so I'm the bookkeeper for 2 hours a day. I'm the customer service rep and answering my own phones for an hour a day. I'm the marketer, promoting my products on social media. I'm the inventory manager working with the supplier, making sure that my inventory is in stock. And it just goes on and on. But you are, you're doing all of these tasks. And so I sort of love this graphic. Let me hide that so that you don't have to see that. Okay, so some of the usual scenarios that you encounter as you grows. Okay, so workload starts to become overwhelming. Okay, I felt that myself. Probably 3 to 6 months into it, I was working day and night. You can't focus on achieving your business goals because you don't have the time. You don't have the time to improve your business because you're just too busy maintaining it. And that's a huge problem that I hear from all of my clients is, how can I even train a VA, or how can I even think about hiring somebody when I am so busy and all of my time is focused just on operating my business. Another thing, most days are spent trying to keep the admin work from piling up. That's nothing new. This is critical. Work-life balance is suffering. And this is so true, and it's very sad because more often than not, you are working weekends, full day, then you're taking the dinner hour off to be with your kids and your family, and then at 8 o'clock, while they're getting ready and doing their baths, and your significant other, is helping them, reading nice bedtime stories to them, you're sitting in the office and you're working. Soon, sad. That is a sad situation, but we're gonna fix that tonight. And then you have no time left to grow your business. This is really important because you need to think about sustained growth. Only initial growth, of getting to the point where you want to be, but you need to maintain that in some way, shape, or form. So if any of these scenarios sound like you, then this presentation today, and I hope the things that I have to say are going to prompt you to take that virtual leap and to begin delegating some of the daily tasks that you're doing, delegating those to a VA. So to the agenda. So that's sort of my introduction. Okay, here's the agenda of what we're going to talk about tonight. So obviously, let's start out with why you need a VA. I know it's kind of basic, but let's just review some of the scenarios that will get you thinking about, oh yeah, okay, I could really use that. I'll address some of the common concerns by clients when you hire a VA. I will discuss, the options that are available out there for you. Again, I said this is not a sales pitch. This is me trying to impart some knowledge that I have onto you. So there are direct sourcing options. You don't need to pay the premium of going through a company, but I'll also talk about the benefits of going through a company. So VA sourcing areas, where do VAs come from? Okay, obviously they're not coming from the United States because the pricing points can't meet that need. You guys are on a very thin margin, and you need to be able to find reliable, staff that can support your business without having to pay the fees that you would have to pay in the United States. Now, there may be jobs that you do need. Anything that requires the physical manipulation of a product labeling, packaging, those types of things, you hire local talent for. Anything other than that, you can definitely outsource to an overseas virtual assistant. Okay, so let's just go through this agenda. How to make sure your VA is working to their full potential. This is concerns that clients have. Is, okay, so I hire a VA, well, how do I know they're actually working? I'm not physically present. I don't know what they're doing on a daily basis. We're going to cover that. What makes a successful remote manager? Well, this is kind of silly. Manager 101 in any college course, but I'm going to show you a quick little video snippet that my staff put together that I think is really cute, that I think gets the point across anyhow. How to gain loyalty and buy-in from your VA. I think that's really important. So after you have somebody on board, how do you make sure that they care about your company and enjoy what they're doing, right? And then we'll close up with just a few lessons learned based on my experience in growing my own company, over the last couple of years, and just sharing some personal thoughts about that. Okay, so why hire a VA? Right? Why not just do it yourself? Why go beyond that? I get that all the time from clients. Well, the first thing is, let's increase the value of your time. Okay, as a business owner, you need to focus on what brings the most value to you for the time that you have available. This is the simple fact that you only have so many hours in a day, and you need all the time you can get to develop your company and increase its profitability. So, if you're thinking about that and you're sitting there doing, doing the Google searches for product descriptions, eventually you start to realize that, hey, maybe I should add people to my team. And when you add people to your team, you're able to leverage their time as well. So you don't only have, I'm sure you're not working 40 hours a week. You don't only have 60 to 80 hours a week, but then you have that additional time of those people that you're adding. So you're leveraging their time. And so by hiring a VA, you're able to offload some of the day-to-day administrative work, give you more time to develop strategies to grow your business. Second point here is keep your business running even when you're not there. This is so important because unforeseen events happen. And you as a business owner have to be prepared for that. You need to keep your business running. Okay, so when you take a week off to spend with your family, you need to feel secure that your business is going to be okay and your income is not going to suffer. So hiring a VA or hiring a team of VAs to handle some of your SOPs, your standard operating processes, just a smart thing to do. Let's make sure you can't be gone for months on end, obviously, but if you need to take a few days off, you're gonna feel confident that your business and your income is gonna be okay. So that's critical. That's one of the biggest things, and that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in my business, that I can be sick one day, or I can go to my child's school events and take off the afternoon and know that I've had people that I trust that are answering client messages and are taking care and helping our VAs. So that's a huge point. The third point I have here is outsource the things you're not good at. And this is, most people say, I have a lot of clients that say that they do everything. That they think that they're the expert at social media marketing and they're the expert at bookkeeping, and that's great. And maybe they are, but, a lot of people like me, I'll tell you, I don't want to be an expert at everything. I want to be an expert at the things that I can control, and to spend hours learning Hootsuite on how to schedule social media posts is not something that I want to do, or to increase my content development knowledge is not something that I'm necessarily interested to do, or to learn WordPress so that I can make my e-commerce, so that I can make my website into an e-commerce website. These are things that we have specialist VAs that can help you do. You don't need to learn everything. Focus on what you know best and hire somebody or outsource it to a company that are experts in that particular area. Okay, so common concerns. This is something I get through my consultation calls. As I said, I've probably spoke with over 500 e-commerce sellers, and they have a lot of concerns about VAs. And I'll tell you one thing, working for Blue Cross Blue Shield, as I said in my intro, I was going around to conferences, speaking in front of people. It was something that was very natural to me. Doing a webinar like this, where I don't get to see the reaction of the people that I'm speaking to, is very difficult. So a lot of people come to the table with being managers in companies where they've been very successful managers, but it's all been face-to-face. It's all been physical. When you're hiring a VA, it's a totally different animal. You are all of a sudden remote, and you don't have that face-to-face interaction, and you can't walk around the hall and peek in the office, or go say hi, or meet at the coffee station. So these concerns are serious and they're real. Okay, so one of the biggest concerns obviously is financial. I can't afford it. So You know, people say there's no way, I don't have any profit in what I'm doing to be able to pay for somebody else to help me out. So my answer then is, you know, well, the simple fix is to look at the products that you're carrying, and maybe you need to change the products. If you're an online arbitrage person and your profit margins are very low, then maybe you need to change your criteria and increase those profit margins for any products that you're going to sell. But you need to find a way. Okay, you saying you can't afford it is not. It's just not good enough. You know, unless you just really need to change your profit margin. You really need to think about what it costs you when you think about a business, and from a business and personal perspective, both financially and emotionally. Find a way. Okay, so that's all I can say. I can't tell you what that way is, but find a way that you can afford it. Even if you're breaking even initially, it's better to break even to give you the additional time to think about growth. And then maybe, you know, a few months down the line, you might start seeing a change in your business. The other thing I get all the time, oh my gosh, is no one can do the job the way I do it. And I get this from so many clients. They sort of say, I want a mini me. And I want a mini me too. But you know what? If you can do it, then someone else can do it. Okay, I can assure you of that. It's happened. It's happened multiple times. I've seen it happen. So just know that if you can do it, someone else can do it. And I know I have here, you're not superhuman. It's kind of, you know, funny, but documentation is the key. Document the process, break down whatever tasks you're going to have your VA do, break them down into the component steps, and you'll easily be able to train them to do it. Our trainers will help you, and I'm sure other companies' trainers will help you as well. So don't be scared that you won't be able to get somebody to be able to do it the way that you want it done. And you might be surprised, because after they learn the process, having another set of eyes on the process, they may be able to even offer suggested improvements, process improvements that you didn't even think of. It's that whole idea of, you know, the team versus the individual, where the more eyes that are on something, the better the result is going to be. Okay, so if you train them well, the improvement, and they will do the things the way that you want them to be done. And most companies like mine, like 24/7 VA, are going to help you in that training component. So you really don't have to worry about that. We're going to help you with that. But the worst thing is holding on to the control. Don't hold on to that control. Let it go. Let others take it over. It will limit your potential as a business. So, you know, it's huge. Please don't think that someone else can't do that. Okay, then this thing I hear is I have no time to recruit and train. Well, that's not, the recruitment clearly isn't a problem. There are plenty of companies out there like mine that will assist you on the recruitment side. We have so much knowledge in terms of recruiting and pulling in talent, okay, and vetting that talent. That's not something you need to be concerned about. The training, some companies offer the training, some companies don't. I would definitely go through a company that offers the training because it's sort of like one more thing that, you know, that you don't have to worry about and you can let off your plate. So, you know, look at companies that are, like mine, virtual assistant service providers, and talk to a variety of us. You don't have to just talk to one. Go ahead and do your due diligence and talk to many and find the right fit for you, because every company is a little different, okay? All right, so direct sourcing. Okay, so this sort of, extends on the conversation we were just having. There are two ways to hire a VA, right? You can, a lot of conferences I go to really promote direct sourcing because it's cheap. You don't have to pay the add-on fee of going through a company. Just go to, the sources that are out there and, figure it out yourself. So let's just talk about that for a moment. Okay, so here we have a couple of platforms, Online Jobs PH and Upwork. Upwork used to be Elance and Odesk, and Elance and Odesk merged and they became Upwork. But there are, and these are only two. There's Outsourcely, there's other things out there for you. My staff just sort of put these two here for us to talk about today. But Ken, if you have the time and want to really understand the whole process of hiring, you can do it yourself. And this is the do-it-yourself method. Go ahead and go on to Online Jobs PH or Upwork and join. I think Online Jobs is an online marketplace. Obviously, most of the workers are Filipino on Online Jobs PH, hence the PH. And it's free for them. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. It's free for you. You post a job ad. So write a job description and post it. But you will need, I'm sorry, it's really not free. You will need to pay a monthly fee if you want to talk to anybody that responds to your job ad. So I think right now it's sort of running right under $50 a month. You can post the ad, talk to anybody that responds to that ad. You better join. And that's it. It's sort of like a monthly fee, but they don't do any verification of skills. Any freelancer can go on there and post their resume. So, Joe from wherever just goes on there and says, okay, here's my resume. And they reply to your job ad. But there's no verification. There's no system checks. There's nothing. Okay. You have to do that all yourself. Another platform, Upwork, a little bit more stringent than Online Jobs PH, I would say. They similar to Online Jobs PH, where people create profiles and they list their resume. There are skill testing that they can take, and then that will be listed there with their profile. And I believe Upwork now also has monitoring platform where when you hire a VA, you can actually sign up for their monitoring, and that screenshots when your VA is working on what they're doing. But there is a fee attached to that as well. I mean, it is a percentage of what you're paying the VA. And I don't know what that percentage is, but every week or every month, whatever the payment cycle is for your VA, they're getting a percentage of that payment. So the VA is getting less money than really the negotiated rate, because part of it's having to go back to Upwork. And that's really coming out of the VA's money. There are options available for you here. So the other option, obviously, is going through a company like 24/7 VA, and there's lots of companies out there that that are doing what I'm doing. Okay, so maybe not exactly what 24/7 VA does, but you know, there's different models. Some companies out there only do the recruiting aspect, and then once they place the VA with you, then they disappear, sort of. You know, they get their money up front, versus companies like me that we're in it for the long haul, right? We're not only recruiting the VA, but we're there, and we're there on a daily basis for you and moving forward. You're not going to get rid of us. So hiring through a company, you know, the benefits that I see in terms of hiring through a company is it really lessens the chance of being scammed. And what I mean by that is that we pre-screen all of our candidates, and they're extremely well vetted. So we may get in a week, let's just say every week, I may get 100 applicants coming in with all different skill sets, you know, all the way from data entry all the way up to iOS app developers. But I get 100 applicants a week through our career centers and you know, people. Out of that 100, maybe 1/5 gets through to our training programs. So that's after, you know, they're going through voice tests, they're going through written tests, they're going through preliminary interviews. Every applicant that comes through that my recruitment team is pushing over to training, I'm talking to, whether it's a 5-minute conversation or a 15-minute conversation. I'm talking to every one of them just to get a sense of their personality and to, you know, verify that I think they're worthy of moving on to our training. We go onto their systems. We do systems checks to make sure that they have in the right environment to be able to work as a VA. We check their government IDs to make sure there's no criminal background. We do reference checking. As a matter of fact, the other day, it's so funny that I got a client reached out to me for a consultation call because he was one of the people that received our reference check email. So he was hiring VAs, direct sourcing VAs, having a terrible time at it, and received one of our reference checks, gave us a very great, reference, not very good for the VA, but, great information for us, and then said, hey, where have you been? Where have you been? I've been looking for a company like you because I don't have the time to be doing this. But anyhow, we do all of this. So, getting scammed, the horror stories that I hear from clients coming is that, they've spent, first of all, they spent probably 3 weeks recruiting and, vetting and then finally hiring the VA. Then they spent 2 weeks training their VA. And then all of a sudden the VA's gone. The VA disappears into space, and there's no way, they're halfway around the world. You have no way of contacting them or, so this is a huge reason for going to a company, whether it's my company or the many other companies that are out there. If you are able to do it through a company. Okay, you avoid the hassle, obviously, like I just said, of recruiting and training. The recruitment piece is critical. Just about every company out there, is really focused on the recruiting piece. So recruitment is really the prime focus of every company. Training, okay, not every company provides the training or the monitoring. But, maybe you don't need that. Maybe you're going to train and do your own thing, and that's fine. You go through a company that you just sort of pay a one-time fee, and that's fine too. But you really, going through a company, the recruiting piece is critical. With our company, and I'm sure there are others like us. You don't hire an individual; you hire an entire team. So the increase in what you're paying is enabling you to tap into getting VAs that are already trained on Amazon Seller Central, are already trained on eBay, whatever platform. I mean, we have lots of training programs, but you get a VA that's already trained. You have access, as you develop your VA, to up-training programs. You may want your VA to get into more of the marketing side of your business, or you may want your VA to get into more of the product listing side. We have specific up-training programs to help your VAs, and our trainers will be there at no cost to you. You also get accounting, okay? So you don't have to worry about paying your VA. We do that for you, and there's other companies that do that as well. We pay the VAs, we invoice the clients. So, sort of the accounting thing is done for you. There's no tax ramifications for you. You're hiring this is an independent contractor agreement. You don't have to worry about anything. You also get an HR area, human resources. So we are right now in the midst of going through performance reviews for our VAs. We do provide an avenue. It's not mandatory, but we provide an avenue for our clients to be able to provide increases in hourly rates, all of that through a standardized process. And it's not based just because they work for you. It's based on their performance and the value that they bring to your company. That's some of the stuff that you get from going through a company. Another important part of going through a company is we have so many candidates. We've got so many great people that, if you're not satisfied with one VA, no problem. Let's just move you to a new VA. If you're not satisfied, you're not starting from square one. Our trainers already know what your existing VA is doing. We also can set up transition plans with your current VA to transition to another VA. I mean, we're there with you and we're dealing with that. Obviously you get a VA that matches your requirements. That's a given. Any good VA company is going to be able to find candidates that meet your requirements. And if they can't, then they're not getting enough applicants through the door. Okay? That's just bottom line. So whatever, during my consultation calls, I take down, tell me what it is that you need, from gender, from shift times, from voice, whether they need neutralized voice or not. I mean, neutralized accent, I'm sorry. But we can find a good VA company will be able to give you, a selection of candidates that meet your requirements. So don't think, that you can't get that. And then, the biggest thing is your VA is bound by a contract. This is really critical. They're not only bound by a contract, they're bound by a code of ethics. So I know that here I am based in the United States, and my VAs are in the Philippines. But, a contract and a code of ethics does mean something to some people. And the people that are getting through and are being promoted to our clients, it really means something to them. We take it very seriously. And it's not just the contract and the code of ethics, but we withhold pay. So every VA that starts with a client is going to have back pay that's due to them. And we do that simply to make sure that if that VA decides to leave, that they will make a they will help us with the transition plan. They will help that client out. They're not just going to disappear because they have money that's owed to them. So that's really important. We also have an exit process. So as a VA is leaving, we have a process whereby we go onto their computer, we identify any of the client's information, we save that over to a Google Drive folder that the client has access to, and we delete it off the VA's VA's computer, and then when the client is satisfied that they have all the information, the client can go ahead and terminate that folder. But that is very important because when you direct source, you don't have the opportunity to do that. And we do that for you. So online recruitment is tricky. I've spent a lot of time on this slide, and you know, it's because it's an important piece. So here I have, you know, thank you, Jason Miles. I have a lot of clients that are so sweet, and they give me some great feedback. As I said, we're going through performance review process right now, and that's really the only time of year that I ask my clients to give me some feedback about our company. But this is from last year. Jason Miles is no longer with me. He went a different direction, and that's fine, but he had some really great feedback for me, and here it is. He was direct sourcing himself, found it to be you know, really terrible, and really loved the fact of going with a company, coming through us. It was turnkey. He didn't have to worry about anything. So that's, and there's many more on our website. And believe me, in January, you'll be seeing a lot of new ones. Not a lot of new testimonials coming up. Okay, so here are, you know, everybody sort of says, where do VAs come from? You know, and it's obviously they come from anywhere where there's internet connection or some sort of remote connection exists, right? So I'm going to focus on what I know. And I'm sure that, you know, you might talk to other companies out there, and they may have different areas, but these are sort of my areas that I've tried and still are working with. So we hire a lot of VAs from South Africa. You know, they're mostly technical. I can tell you that, mostly the technical people. Also India, highly technical, and we hire from them. We're just starting to get into Eastern Europe. We're starting to see that India's prices are a little higher than what we can provide in order to maintain our pricing structure, which is one of the lowest in the industry. But India is starting to sort of price themselves out. And so we're moving into Eastern Europe. But again, these areas are more on our, you know, more skilled applicants in terms of IT, content, social media. Other than that, the Philippines are sort of, and the reason we have the gold star here is that's our primary sourcing area. The Filipino culture and the work ethic just seems to really mesh well with our e-commerce business clients. You know, this possibly might be a result of the fact that as you know, applicants are coming in, they're really transitioning out of huge BPO firms in the Philippines. And BPO is business process outsourcing. So you have American companies, Canadian companies, European companies outsourcing their customer service, their technical support, their chat support. And these are huge companies like IBM, Chevron, Citibank. I mean, really big companies that are outsourcing their customer service functions to Filipinos. And so they get some really terrific training. And that's maybe one of the reasons why it's so successful, is because of that training, because of their customer centric or focused. They really are. They come to us and they just fit really nice, because most of our clients, that's all they care about, is pleasing their customer. And so we've just seen really, really great success there. So the Filipinos, are well educated. Here's some, another thing. They're very well educated. Most of our applicants have college degrees, 4-year college degrees, some more than that. They graduate from college. There's not a lot of opportunity in the Philippines, except for being funneled into these BPO firms. And then, so they're very smart. They're really extremely smart. English is like a second language in their country, so their accent, most of them, it's very neutralized, especially going through these BPO firms. They've had classes on English grammar, it's incredible the types of stuff that they learn. Obviously, the peso is much lower than the U.S. dollar. I think right now, the exchange rate is $1 to 48 pesos, and it changes, it fluctuates a little bit, but they are getting, for what you're paying in the U.S. dollar, they're getting really good salaries, and so they're very happy with what they're earning. And then, they're really immersed in the American culture. My staff and I joke all the time about, what American TV series are they watching right now, or have they seen this American movie? And they have, and they are listening to U.S. songs, or watching our basketball, or TV series. So it allows them to interact with people in the U.S., and other parts of the world in a way that different areas in Asia can't. So the Philippines are very Americanized, I guess. And it's not that they want to leave their culture. They just know where, they want to provide for their families. And they know that in order to do that, learning about America is important. Okay. All right, so here is just a quote from the LA Times talking about, the fact that U.S. companies are moving, or outsourcing, not moving, outsourcing to the Philippines, and highlighting, this is very interesting, highlighting the fact that they have younger, more employable workers. That's pretty significant. And we don't hire, I do have some VAs that are still in college and very young. But the majority of the VAs that we push through have families already. So they have responsibility, they have a child that they're taking care of, or grandparents that they're taking care of. But they do have, they sort of have responsibilities, but these kids are graduating at an earlier age than Americans, and they're going on to college, and they're getting great degrees, and are very smart, and are looking for employment. Okay, so here, now you've hired, let's just assume, okay, so we've sort of moved through the why and the how. So now you have a VA. How do you know what's going on when you're not physically present? Right? This is a huge question I get. And I'm going to leave this slide I'm sorry, doesn't have a lot of information on it, but I'm going to talk about it for a minute. So when you have a VA, the first thing you need to think about, and let's start at the left here, the bottom left, is documentation. You need to have clear documentation of what they are doing on a daily basis. Your VA should feel accountable, okay, and that's critical. I know, and I talk to my staff about this on a daily basis. The VAs need to feel accountable. You need to have some type of project management system or communication in place so that you know what your VA is doing on a daily basis. Our company, different companies, do things differently. Our company, we have an end of day report that goes to the client every day at the end of that VA shift that documents hour by hour. This is something we've learned along the way. It's not just, hey, this is what I did during my shift, but it's hour by hour. This is what I accomplished. And here's the challenges that I had, and here's what I need. Hey, you client, here's what I need in order to do my job tomorrow. But have something. You really have to, the VAs have to document what they're doing. Monitoring. Okay, this is something some clients want to do, some clients don't want to do. Some clients say it's spyware. Other clients say, no, it's a must. At my company, I have screen monitoring for all of my employees. Okay, so, and I do that not because I go in there and I look every day at their screenshots. I do that in case there is ever an issue that I think that they haven't done something or they've said that they've done something, but it's there as a record. It's sort of like recording your front door, your home security system or whatever. It's there as a record. You don't ever have to even look at it, but it just makes everybody a little bit more honest, right? And there's all different types of screen monitoring systems. There are some that cost you $10 per VA. There are some that cost you $1 per VA. So, pricing isn't, you shouldn't worry about the pricing of a screen monitoring system. You should just worry about setting something up. Some versions, the $10 ones are like the Cadillacs, and they can also track productivity. So it sort of tracks mouse clicks for your VA. So not only screenshots, but how many times per, minute or 5 minutes that the mouse was actually clicked, and it feels that that's a measure of productivity. But you should have some type of monitoring system, and it doesn't have to be screenshots. It could be a project management tool that you have in place. Maybe you're the type of manager that really just operates off of results. And as long as tasks are being accomplished, then that's really all you care about. Then that's fine too. Just have a project management system like Basecamp or Asana or something. But have some way to monitor what your VAs are doing. Access. Okay, so this, I think, you should definitely, when you hire a VA, set up immediate access to their computer. And this is normally TeamViewer or some type of other remote utility that allows you to remotely access their desktop. And it also helps, when you want to walk them through a procedure or something like that. It's great, for sharing information, but make sure that you can get onto their computer to see what's going on. Check. This is kind of weird, but I have some clients that have set schedules. So they will meet their VA on a Monday from 8 to 9 and on a Friday from 4 to 5. And that's it. That's the only interaction they have with their VA. And what I try to tell them is, hey, don't limit it to that. Check in on a Wednesday at 3 and just say, hey, how you doing? I'm online. But it's good to check in with your VAs at an irregular time, just to make sure, that everything's okay, and make sure that they're there. Even though, if you go through a company like mine, we're going to be monitoring that for you. But it's still, good for you as a client. Face. It's sort of like the boss in the office. Show your face, and it helps with productivity. Okay, teamwork. This is something that I've learned. A lot of clients just hire one VA. Sometimes it's better, whenever possible, to hire more than one VA. So if you're going to hire one VA for 20 hours a week, maybe you hire 2 VAs for 10 hours each a week. I know with our company, we'll give you the same rate as hiring one for 20. But it sort of takes away, when there's a team there present and a VA knows that there's another VA there that's working with them, it takes a little bit of the temptation away, from being idle, or, going onto their Facebook and chatting their friends rather than working. So it is, I think, having a team is nice. Share. Okay, so sharing, this is just the simple fact of Google Drive exists, okay? Google Drive is incredible. You can see real time what's happening. So if your tasks involve spreadsheets, if they involve creating content, anything that you can monitor real time on, Google Drive, it's great. Because you can just go in and look, and you can sort of see how things are progressing. Dropbox is another way to share files. It's not live, so you can't see that. But Google Drive, I think, is outstanding for virtual relationships. And then the last one here is communicate. Obviously send instructions to your VA. Through some type of email or Skype chat room or Google Hangout, some way, keep the lines of communication documented. Make sure that you communicate. Communication is key, and make sure you document that communication. Okay. Okay, so here's my blank orange screen. Hopefully this works. So this is what's coming up here. I'm sorry that you see this blank screen, but this is that little video clip that I talked about at the beginning that is going to give me a break from talking, and so I can take a sip of water. But it is something that my staff put together that I thought was nice. I thought it was useful to share to you guys. It's just a couple of minute video. So here it is. And I will try to turn it up as loud as possible so that you hear it. And I don't know where my volume is. Hang on. Shoot. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Okay, everybody. Okay, so I just looked at the clock. I am way over time, so I apologize for this. This is what my staff tell me all the time. I sort of just get talking and just keep going. We are almost to the end. These last couple of slides are just about some lessons learned. So, really hire the right people. Job enthusiasm and high performance is really a hiring issue. So just make sure you get the right people on board. John, I hear you in the background. But once you get the right people on board, you will rarely struggle with getting them to perform, okay? And look for people that are interested in your company and your job duties. So during the interview, make sure you ask them what they like doing, where they see themselves in 5 years. Make sure that their goals are set with yours, okay? And obviously respect, encourage, and understand. Make them feel valued. One of the things I hear from my workers is, I know that my job is hard, but I know my boss understands. So encourage a culture of achievement, enthusiasm. Ask them to share their suggestions, their ideas. All of that's really important. So I'm sorry I'm speeding through these last things, but really understand what drives your. Okay, so here, it's a lot easier for everyone to correct a problem early on. This is critical. These lessons learned are critical. Don't wait. I have a lot of clients that just sort of sit silent in the background, not really happy with what's going on. Don't wait, because most likely things aren't going to improve. Take action immediately, okay? Be the kind of boss you always wanted to have. Be kind and fair. I mean, it's very simple. Everybody wants to do their job well. Just reward them when they do. Really encourage a low drama atmosphere. Okay, drama will just be terrible for your team. Consider hiring 2 VAs. This is an important point because I have lots of clients that go with just hire 1 VA and think they're going to be great, and then 2 months down the road they're really not happy, even though they were happy at the beginning. Consider hiring 2. I'll give you the economy rate. If you're going to hire, just like I said earlier, if you're going to hire 1 20-hour, hire 2 10s with the same skill sets. Just sort of see who rises to the top. Maybe both of them will be excellent, and you'll be happy and want to keep both of them. But it sort of gives you that safety net by hiring 2 VAs. And my final slide, everybody. Here, treat others the way you want to be treated. Make a positive impact in others' lives. This is important. Give mentorship, okay? These, they may not be at your level, but they want to learn and they want to help your company. Help them want to help your company by mentoring them. Critical here, hire people with outstanding integrity. This is in the interview process. This is something we take very seriously through the recruitment. Align your interests with your team. Develop consistent processes. This is again about the documentation that we talked about at the beginning. Don't hire your sister-in-law. Avoid hiring anybody difficult to fire. Do not do that because that's going to put you in a very sticky situation. Again, this is the move quickly, assess quickly. If it's not the right fit, move on. It's better to just get it over with, leave that VA, move on to another one. And final thought here, everybody, is words matter. Be careful what you say. Especially in a virtual relationship when you don't have the face-to-face interaction, it's really important that that you are just a nice person and speak in a positive way to your VAs. Okay, John. I'm 15 minutes over, and I'm sorry I didn't even look at the clock.
That's all right.
So,
Great. We have a few questions, though, that I want to at least get answered for the people that are here. Lou's question's been up for a while. He said, I am just starting an Amazon business and have not even found the right product yet. Should I wait until I am in business 3 months before I hire a VA?
well, I would say, get a product under your belt. You really need to experience your business before you can hand it off to somebody else. So my advice would be, you may have a day job and may not have the time. You could hire not necessarily a VA to handle your operational processes, but you could hire a VA to help you find that product. So we have a lot of clients that use our VAs to product source, and you can product source in a number of ways. Online arbitrage is one, obviously retail arbitrage, but you can also product source for private labeling, where they can be helping you evaluate products. If China's your market, evaluating products out of, coming out of China, and providing you with the research around that. So if you don't have time to do that and you're a new seller, then that would be my focus if you were going to hire a VA. There's no operational stuff going on at that point, right?
Right. Dennis has a question too, and I think you touched on this a little bit earlier in the presentation, but he may want more of a thorough answer. He said, are the VAs working on a company computer or their own computer? Data security is very important.
Absolutely. And that was one of the things in one of my initial slides. I talked about common concerns, and I said to my staff when they gave me this presentation, I said, what about security issues? Because I get so many clients talking about that. But yeah, no, we are not office based. There are some companies that are, which may provide you, better security control. All of our VAs work from home and they have their own computers. So what we do is we check those computers. We advise our clients in terms of passwords and user IDs to go through something like LastPass.com, where you're not actually giving them the access codes, but you still have control over it. We also advise to use Google Drive for any document sharing so that you can immediately turn that off if you want to. And again, our exit processes really speak to that security concern in terms of removing the information off that VA's computer.
Dennis also has a question. What are the costs for employing a VA?
What are the other? Yeah, say it one more time, John. What are the other what?
What are the costs of employing a VA? And I know that depends on the country.
Yeah. So in terms of going through our company, there aren't any other. You pay a weekly fee, a set weekly fee for however many hours you contract with us. So there's no taxes, no tax issues or anything like that. We're considered, you're hiring us as an independent contractor, and our VAs really are independent contractors. Other than that, we do have, in terms of costs, some clients, if your VA is going to be doing a lot of spreadsheet work for you, you might want to buy your VA a big monitor. That's up to you. But in terms of ancillary costs, it is the weekly fee. And we on the screen right now, I have, that we have a Pro Seller Talk link here. We are offering, we have a one-time setup fee of $99. We are offering for anybody listening to this 50% discount off of that. So, and that setup fee is only charged after you are satisfied with your VA. So you will pay for whatever hours your VA works on a weekly basis. You will only pay for the hours that they work. You will be refunded for any hours that they don't work. But this is the one-time setup fee. So there really aren't any ancillary costs for the sellers.
Great. So, hey, Catherine, if they want to get a hold of you, how can they reach out and find out more information about you and what you do?
Okay, so I'm sorry I don't have a slide here for it, but you can just visit. Let me go back. Let me go back to the link here. Go on this link because this will take you to our website. It'll take you to a private page, obviously, for John and Pro Seller Talk that sort of speaks to his audience. But once you navigate off that page, it'll take you to our full website. There's a contact us. You can set up a consultation call. I do all the consultation calls still. So you set up the consultation call. It asks you to select your day and time. You can just set it up, whatever works best with your schedule, and we can have a conversation. Conversations last anywhere from 15 minutes, and I've gone, an hour, over an hour and 20 minutes. Just the other day, I talked to somebody. So I am available for you guys and to help you with your needs related to virtual assistants.
Thanks. That's great, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, thanks for taking time out of your day today to spend some time with us and my audience. And we do appreciate you coming on here and doing this presentation that you had. This is an awesome presentation. I know they'll get a lot out of it now. And if they're not applying these things or working with VAs now, you definitely need to be looking at VAs because, like what Catherine said, and most successful entrepreneurs will tell you that you can't do it all yourself. You have to have a team behind you, and without a team, you can only grow as far as you can grow as a person with only you doing it. So you want to look at VA when you get to the point where it's becoming overwhelming, to the point where you're doing everything and you just can't grow your business because you've got too many of the daily tasks that you're having to do that's holding you back. So again, Catherine, thank you for being here. I wish you a Merry Christmas and God bless you. And I'll give you the last words to say good night.
Okay, well, thank you, John. I really appreciate the fact that you invited me. So thank you. I thank everybody for their time tonight, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever religion you subscribe to. I just wish you a happy time over these next several weeks, and thank you. Reach out to me if you'd like to talk more.
Okay, take care. Thanks, Catherine. God bless.
All right, God bless. Bye-bye.